Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the C-Cap Invitational Season 1. We've got Game 2 of Fnatic versus Rave set to get underway. My God, was Game 1 a nail-biter till the end. Rave holding the entire game in a lead until the very end when Fnatic, well, they took one team fight and basically won the game off of it. So without any further ado, let's hop right into this draft here, see what we're working on, and it's a little bit more of the same. Literally the exact same opener until now. We'll see this Chen curveball. We did see Chen banned out in the second phase in last game. But some similar faces. Invoker, Nature's Prophet, and Lion on the same teams, mind you. That's the part that's even more eerie about it, I suppose. Exact same setup here. Fnatic has Radiant once again. And I think that they might have had first pick last game. Of course, the way that works is it rotates choice, not side and pick. So in the first game, if you win the toss, you get to say, hey, do I want to choose my side or do I want to choose my pick? And then you get to choose within that subset, do I want first pick or do I want Radiant or Dire? So in Game 2, if you lost the toss in Game 1, you get the chance to say, hey, what's going on, fellas? I'm going to choose. So it can work out if one team really likes Radiant, one team really likes Dire, that the entire series could be the exact same matchup on both sides because it's just how teams choose regardless of who actually won the toss or who has the advantage. So again, thank you for joining us here, folks. I am Zyori from moonducktv. If you're just getting wind of this tournament, you can find all the VODs at youtube.com/moonducktv. All of our stuff is moonducktv, and these VODs get uploaded right away, pronto after the game is done. Game 1 is already processing over there on the YouTubes, so please check that out at your leisure. So Invoker Chen for Fnatic, that'll be the opener. A lot of pushing power there, no doubt about that. I think they opened with the Sven last time. It was the Invoker Sven. So they do leave it for this round. Rave bans it out straight away. You know, part of Game 1, at least for the first half, was all about the jungle. We saw both teams with a relatively greedy lineup. Enigma on one side, a farming position for Doom on the other. And the junglers really had a big impact, not just because of Enigma having a black hole and all that stuff, but in terms of just the early tempo of the game and kind of how the farm gets distributed. The Doom had absolutely fabulous rotations early on, picked up a number of kills even before level 6, and was almost keeping pace with the Enigma. Not quite, but still an impressive feat when you consider how different their farming dynamics are. Team Rave, though, they pick up the Spectre. So we talked about Spectre last game. She was banned out, I believe, in the second banning phase. And, you know, we've been seeing this hero played in a variety of ways. The old school style where you just rush the Radiance and play pretty passive early on, then come online at a nice early mid-game timing. Kind of what this patch has been about. But it's also been about early aggression. And that's something that Spectre can thrive in some scenarios. It depends what build you're going for, but again, we've seen that Urn, that kind of diffusal rush, even just phase drum Urn Aquila gives Spectre a lot of fighting potential in that 10 to 15 minute window or so. And if you can get a couple of kills, you can use those kills to propel you towards the Radiance, which lets you farm towards the late game. So all sorts of different ways you can take this hero. Does give you some late game security, but not necessarily an indicator that you can sleep on the early game here. Definitely a bit bold to pick up against a Chen Invoker. You know there's going to be early aggression. That's what Chen does. It's not a hero that scales particularly well into the late game. So Rave better have something in mind to deal with this. They played a fabulous Prophet last game as well. Rapey, he just did a damn good job being in the right place at the right time. It seemed like any opportunity that they could find a kill, they had somebody rotate in, Prophet +1, and all of a sudden they were picking up kills all over the map. He went for that very right-click focused build, phase, drum, into the Orchid, and eventually the Mjolnir. So a lot of attack speed and pretty decent auto-attack damage to boot. Now, for Fnatic, I really like the way they've started off this lineup. This is the beginning of a super scary five-man death ball. Chen and Witch Doctor alone have a lot of healing. Just having the heal from the Voodoo Restoration can help keep Chen's creeps kind of topped off a little bit so he doesn't have to use his ult or the mech, and you can still siege towers. There's just a lot of good five-man potential there. And similar to the Enigma, the Chen should have no problem in the jungle farming a timely mech unless Rave make it a problem. And there is a bounty hunter still in the pool. Something that Rave might want to consider here. Now, one of the issues with Bounty Hunter is he's very bad against pushing strats. Where he doesn't shine is that 5-man death ball, and they will go for it. A fabulous pick against Chen in that early stage, especially when everyone's in the laning stage. You can be that irritant in his side. It does cost the Bounty Hunter some farm of his own, and if he does misstep, it can end up being a total disaster where you give the Chen a lot of momentum. But the flip side is very much true. You can steal a lot of his experience if you steal a couple of the big creeps. That 10-minute mech that I'm talking about is certainly not going to be a reality.
10 seconds.
Again, though, for Rave, around this time in the draft last time is when I said they need something to hold it all together. They need the rug to tie the room together. Last game, it was Puck. Fnatic has opted to ban it out here, and I'm not sure what the pick is this go around. I think it has to be a ranged hero, something that can match up okay against the Invoker. Bounty Hunter can sort of play the babysitter role in the mid to help the Invoker, but I think the reason you pick him up here is to cripple the Chen. And if you don't use the Bounty Hunter to cripple the Chen early on, you just get run down, especially if the Bounty gets starved for experience. Phoenix, the 4th pick for Fnatic here, and another great team fight hero, that early 5-man death ball. I think this is going to be a much more aggressive game from Fnatic than we saw in game number 1. That first matchup, it was Rave who were the early aggressors. It wasn't a completely quiet game. We didn't go without kills, but early on, it was Rave racking up all the kills. They had 16 kills at 16 minutes. I think Fnatic had like 7 or 8, something like that. They really just wanted to split push, farm up their Sven, and wait until they hit critical mass towards the late game, and then come online and hit that timing kind of like they did. Rave ban out the Slark with their 5th, and Fnatic, I think they just need to ban out good team fighters. Who else could go mid and be annoying against the Invoker? Like an OD. I don't know if that's the pick for Rave. I think that's too little control. Queen of Pain would have been a pretty good pick. A nice slow. Whoa, without a moment's hesitation, Rave take the Alchemist. I'm really surprised by that. This is such a greedy lineup. My God. Every single one of these heroes on Rave needs farm. Bounty Hunter may be the one exception. Early on, he just needs experience, hits level 6, and he can recover later on with track. But Alchemist, Spectre, Prophet all need a lot of farm. All of them very greedy, love to go for farming tools like Midas,
10 seconds
points in the Greevil's Greed, rushing a Radiance. And Lion is not a support that really thrives without a lot of farm, if you know what I'm saying. One of those supports that really wants an early Blink Dagger and really needs early experience as well. He needs to hit level 6 as quickly as possible and get that extra experience to level up the Earth Spike. If Rave can get away with this, it will pay huge dividends. Now, what does Fnatic take here? They need to decide, do we want to go all in with push an early game, or do we want to get a security blanket in case we have to go for that late game and have something that can match up against Spectre Alchemist? And it's the former. My God. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Now, this is exciting because you don't get to see this that often these days. This patch seems to be all about the early fighting and the ability to transition that momentum into the late game, right? Take those late game heroes and really bring them online. But you need that ability to fight early on. And that's part of the reason why Spectre is so freaking good on this patch. Lycan is all about the push. Chen, Invoker, Lycan. This is like, we're going to see towers knocked down at the 5-minute mark, and then it's going to be nonstop from there. If Fnatic doesn't continually knock down towers, push their advantage, take out an early Roche, and just take the fight to Rave, this is going to get nasty real quick. This is going to be an exciting game too, folks. And thank you so much for joining us here. I know Dota Pit's on right now. There's a lot of great Dota happening today. But this is our final series and could possibly be the last game if Fnatic takes it 2-0. Now, of course, Rave could bring it back and bring us into that ace match if they take a victory here. This is upper bracket. The winner of this will be moving on to the semifinals. They've got Arcanus waiting for him. We can actually glance at the bracket real fast for you VOD viewers at home. You can pause it there if you're so inclined, but this is a spot for the upper bracket semifinals where Arcanus is awaiting. All right. Oh, yeah, here we go. Ninja Boogie off to the races. He'll go ahead and get down this deep ward in the enemy jungle. Definitely a sign that this bounty hunter will be putting some pressure on the Chen. Not very commonly you see a ward put there at the 0-0 mark or even prior. Now, this is risky for Rave as well. I don't want to say they're all in on shutting down the Chen, but early on, these wards really matter. If Fnatic are able to counter one of their wards down in either the lane or on the rune, it's going to leave Rave basically visionless except for the Bounty Hunter playing with the Chen. And that's a big deal. Bounty had a sentry ward here, and it looks like it's going to go the other way. He's going to take out the Observer ward here. He'll eat it with the Tango. Very nicely done. Already, Ninja Boogie is off to a pretty good start. So now Chen feels obligated to pick up some wards here. Uh-oh, Jo. He's going to walk into the danger zone, get stunned up by the cask. Will still get off the dagger. And that's going to be a bounty rune going the way of Invoker, I think. They're trying to keep it for him. And they'll be able to. Invoker's going to grab it. And bottom one grabbed up by the Alchemist. With that early point in Greel's greed, so yes, 1,000 net worth for the Alchemist before creeps even spawn. How nice. What a hero. So Ninja Boogie, he's going to start off in the mid lane here. He's going to try to get a good start for the Alchemist, and I think this is absolutely required, even though he has to be wary of the Chen's positioning. Already, he'll push him back, force him to eat one of those shared tangos. The Invoker does have plenty of regen, so he is somewhat prepared for this. And I think this lane should go the way of the Invoker. The Alchemist will farm a little bit, but he's a very low armor hero starting off. And Invoker should be able to harass him pretty well. Alk is really good against those tanky melee heroes. Amazing against Dragonite. One, because of the acid spray. You're forced to stand in it to last hit for the most part. And usually those big beefcakes are really softened up by that minus armor. But Invoker should have an okay time at least just farming his basic last hits here against the Alk. Ninja Boogie being very aggressive here in the mid, though. He will lose the tail end of that clarity. Looking for a potential courier snipe, but not going to be able to find the timing here as he turns his sight onto the Chen. DJ does have a stack. He found a Wild Wing Ripper, so we'll be able to stack up that camp, and if he stacks it a few more times, the Wild Wing can just take it down with the Tornado. Takes a little bit of RNG to make it happen. You got to get that big pink bird for it to work, and if you get that early spawn, it's a way that Chen can turbo farm in the jungle. Feels a little risky against the Bounty Hunter here. He has a couple options. He can either try to block this stack to waste more of DJ's time, or he can let him stack it. And since he has a ward there, just keep tabs and then try and leech and steal last hits whenever the Chen does opt to take it out. Can be a little bit easier said than done against the Tornado. It's really annoying and actually does a lot of damage. And it looks like Bounty will not block it. He'll let Chen get up to that third stack here. Scary for DJ. Because if this gets jacked, if they kill him while he's trying to kill all of these creeps, he'll be level 1, get nothing from this, and then die. And that is a very real scenario when you've got a ward on the high ground here. Very real possibility, at least. Looking at other lanes here. How are things faring? Net in the safe lane. Doing just okay. This Nature's Prophet is actually keeping up with him. They're even in CS, and never ideal for your safe laning farmer. But it's kind of a similar story up top. Phoenix keeping point with the Spectre. Now mid, we'll see a rotation from Ninja Boogie. He charges up to stun. There is some support on the way. Rapey's there. It's a first blood drawn by the Dire. Now the cast comes in. We'll start bouncing around. 3-4-3 wants the kill on the Bounty, but he's hasted up. He's going to walk through the acid spray. He will live, but those auto attacks do some damage. And again, this Prophet, TPing in the right place at the right time, secures himself a first blood and the kill on the Invoker. Last game, Invoker was a tough pick for Fnatic. We saw Rave continually put a lot of pressure on him. He died twice as much as anybody else on his team. And it wasn't because he played poorly. It was because they just constantly rotated on him. They didn't give him a chance to get much momentum. We'll see Chen now with a foreskin. That's a quad stack for the Laymans. So here we go. Ninja Boogie. Does he leech experience or go for the last hits here? That's the question. We're going to take a look at the hero chart here. So Chen is level 1 at the beginning of this. We'll see how much he gets. Bounty just slurping it up. Thanks to the experience, bro. Sentry Ward is down up here. Ninja Boogie just finding that little spot where he can absorb. And even this is a victory. He's forced the Witch Doctor to come down, and that'll take even more XP from the Chen. He cancels the Tornado because he says, yo, 3-4-3, I like what you're doing here. I like what you're putting out, my man, but I need this XP. This is me. They're trying to push him back so that the Chen can just last hit these all by himself. He'll get 1, he gets 2, and he gets 3. Well, while that's happening, Phoenix gets a solo kill up top. Sorry about that, folks, but this is actually a big deal here in the jungle. So, kind of a break even, I guess. Bounty Hunter does absorb a fair bit. Somehow, Hyle gets a solo kill up here on the Spectre. That's huge for Fnatic. if he hadn't got that kill, I was going to say, the Bounty Hunter is taking the attention of 2 heroes, forces this Witch Doctor to rotate, and Witch Doctor really doesn't get a hell of a lot out of that little movement into the jungle, besides knowing that his Chen is safe. But Phoenix, solo now, getting all of this farm and getting a solo kill. He is feeling great. Pulling ahead of the Spectre, now a full level and a half ahead. Things feeling pretty good for Fnatic here in this early laning stage. Rave had that early advantage while Chen wasn't farming. But now that Chen's taken out that stack, we're right back to where we started. Uh-oh, mid lane. Are we going to see something happen here? Mid one in some trouble. We're going to see 2 kills at once. I don't think they're going to be able to easily grab that kill down bottom. It will be Rapey that survives. Phoenix TP's in, pushes back Ninja Boogie. Now down bottom, the Lion may show himself. He comes out of the tree line. They're going to go for a kill. They go right for the Witch Doctor. Cass comes out, starts bouncing around creeps, goes right back to Rapey. Hex out onto the Witch Doctor. Derp trying to find the kill. Rapey will be able to live on the other side. And it looks like no kills will come out in the bottom lane. Lycanwolf's so annoying against these supports. They will have a rotation, though. Bounty Hunter on the way. Now that it's a 3-on-2, they might be able to make this happen. There is a Sentry Ward down. Take a look at Radiant Vision. Good positioning from the Bounty. They won't see him in the tree line, and they're not going to go for it. Still, you look at that last hit chart. All 3 cores on Fnatic are topping it. Phoenix keeping pace with the mid hero. Mid one dying once is the only kind of unfortunate bit for Fnatic.
We'll take that.
Spectre in some trouble up top. Ohio going for the dive. Hits him with a couple of those fiery spirits. Oh, mama, the Hadouken right into Sunstrike. What a brilliant setup that was. Just beautifully executed. Much needed for mid one as well. That'll get him back on point for a decent Midas timing here. And this should open up for Fnatic to push this tower nice and easy. This is one of the drawbacks to this greedy lineup that Rave has gone for. They just don't have the supports to keep everybody safe. Bounty Hunter can only do so much in these early levels. Spectre's been left alone for most of this laning stage. It hasn't really worked out. Now they rotate onto DJ. It's a 4-on-1. They go into the Phoenix Egg. Ninja Boogie, he's not going to survive this one. He goes down. It's a pretty costly exchange for Rave. The Witch Doctor comes in and cleans it up. He gets the Bounty Hunter and the Nature's Prophet. Spectre does get credit for the kill on the Phoenix. And it will be Fnatic that actually get credit for that, as it is a 2-on-3, or credit for the win. Now back in the mid lane. Mid one, dove on. Breezy. Might still live. Cold Snap, not going to be enough. Nice heads-up play there to use the Haunt as he comes right back. Kind of unexpected. And another nice kill on the Invoker. Always a good thing to have. All right, now I want to relive the madness here, if we can. I want to relive this gank on the Spectre up top that kind of started that whole sequence, because it was brilliant. So he gets dove here by Ohio behind the tower. Hits him with some fiery spirits. He's like, all right, I'm good. I'm in the trees. You think the Sunstrike's not going to be enough, and just barely gets clipped by the Chen Shockwave. Very nice indeed. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we're going to see a wraparound. Ninja Boogie, invisible behind the tower. But 3-4-3 and DJ are smoked up. They go back up to the high ground. Jo just barely dodges, breaking the smoke. Now he walks right into it. Oh, the death ward from the high ground. Nothing the Spectre can do. They've got a Centaur Stomp as well. Easy pick off. Great positioning from Fnatic. They just barely made it up to the high ground in time to keep that smoke intact and secure that kill on the Spectre. So now the push continues, using that Voodoo Restoration. Old Poodoo 3-4-3. Help secure that tier 1 tower kill mid. Mid 1 will get credit for that. They've got Forged Spirits. They've got Lycan Howls. They've got Wolves. They even got the Vlads. Already grabbing these Aura teamfight-based items. Derp initiates onto the Witch Doctor. Hex Earth Spike. Creates some space, and his team won't be able to follow up. Rapey going for Courier Snipe. Not going to happen. Oski's going to live. And all the while, Phoenix just farming up top. Phoenix with 3K net worth, feeling pretty good at this point. Has his Gloves of Haste at 9 minutes. That'll be a pretty timely Midas. One of the great things about this Fnatic lineup is that they can push and take some early momentum and also go double Midas on the Invoker and Phoenix and help propel themselves into that mid game. Here we go. Haunt from the Spectre to help defend this tower at the bottom lane. Does he reality in? The answer is yes, right onto Net. Net's going to be the first one to take big damage, but he will get the ult off and start to walk away. All 5 still alive on both sides of the coin, but now they reinitiate, and it's Rave that's in trouble. A very forward ult from the Phoenix secures the kill on the Nature's Prophet. Another Hadouken for the win. Jo gets chased down by Net. He dies off that side. The Supernova does go off, and now Ohio dives forward. Fiery Spirits connect onto Derp, a cold snap as well. He's going to burn down, and he will fall. Hadouken's flying left and right. It's a 3-0 as Fnatic win the fight. They keep all 5 alive. Their Lycan just barely walks away.
Dire's bottom tower.
But he's completely topped off when the fight ends. Chen didn't even use his ult there. Level 3 Voodoo Restoration certainly coming in handy. Fnatic rewarded with a tier 1 tower to boot. They move right into the Roche pit. Less access points for the Dire, and they will go right on in here. All 5 have respawned from Rave, and they're going to contest. The Spectre's not with them. No Haunt for a minute, so this will at best be a 5v4 for Rave. They know there isn't a Supernova, nor is there a Lycan ulti. But Fnatic are committed. Now they go on to Rapey. Cold Snap as well as the Fiery Spirits. He's slowly going to kick down. Even a Death Ward used for this. That's another free kill for Fnatic, and they are just taking control of this game now. Roshan seems like it'll be a reality. And Lycan will be rewarded with an Aegis of the Immortal. Really odd play from Rave there. They grouped up around the Roche pit as 4. Totally understand why their Spectre went back to the lane to continue farming, but if you know the Haunt is down, you either contest it or you don't. But having your Nature's Prophet linger nearby than get caught, they might as well have just handed it over and split farmed. They could have at least gotten a rotation out of the jungle from that instead of feeding another kill over. Now mid one has his Midas up. Phoenix, very close, only a couple hundred gold away. Alchemist still farming very well for the Dire. He's gone for this phase boot medallion build. Looks like Blink Dagger could be next as he's pulling up the money. We'll see Ryo initiated on. Sunstrike gets the kill. They'll set it up with the cold snap, and it's more than enough. Now Rave could be in some trouble. No cask on, or no bounce on the cask rather, but Rapey's just taking too much damage. You rat bastard, you're gonna get taken down. Rave just looked to be in shambles at this point, getting picked off left and right, and the Bounty Hunter just can't do anything. He's not even level 6. And this is exactly what I was talking about, where, yeah, sure, you can pick on the Chen early on, but he is just so bad in these early pushing lineups, or against these early pushing lineups. Track gives you some vision, gives you some movement speed, but if you don't even have track, you're basically a walking Hadouken. You're a shuriken toss, and that's about it. I mean, Fnatic can now split push. Phoenix gets the tower up top, the rest of his team pressures mid, and Net gets the tower down bottom. All of a sudden, we're 12 minutes in. Fnatic are at the high ground, and there's only one outer tower remaining for Rave. It seems ridiculous to have the buyback chart up already, but this tier 3 tower is down below half health. This all-in play from Fnatic is starting to work, and this tier 3 is taking heavy damage. It'll be turned to rubble. There's a glyph available for Rave, and they're going to have to use it. Death Ward to zone him out. Even a Tornado. Double Satyr Tormentors. Look at the Shockwave. It takes Ninja Boogie down to half health, and those are just Chen creeps. Charges up the Unstable Concoction. Now the glyph is used. Rave are trying to do everything they can here, but their options are just so limited. Spectre, outside of the base, has a Haunt, but that's a mid lane of Barracks. Secured for Fnatic. Buyback doesn't even matter. Rave can't take a fight. Lion dies off to the back, and Invoker will just pick him off. Ohio, Icarus dive in. No Supernova. We'll have to hold it for now. Fnatic just kind of lingering. Happy to clear creep. Say, you know what, Rave? We're just going to linger around, bait a little bit. If you want to fight, we're ready to knuckle up. But are you buck wild enough? That's what they're asking. And they're not even going to back, because why would you? Looks like Fnatic got hot dates tonight, boys and girls, because they are ready to get out of this series ASAP. 13 minutes in, and this could be the second fastest game we've seen in this tournament. The first was Rave in their opening match, and that's it, GG. After a back-and-forth game 1 where Rave had control, game 2 is going to be a complete slaughter. Fnatic just pushed right up the mid lane, 14 minutes, 14-4, 4s all around. Should have brought in Havos to co-cast because this game is over. DJ is the winner. A little bit of friendly banter there. I can't believe how one-sided that final game was. I mean, you could see it in the draft. I guess it was either going to work or it wasn't when it comes to Fnatic. But since that was such a quick one, let's just take a look at the replay for that last 2-minute sequence or so, just to get a feel for the power curve of Fnatic. So they've got 3 in the mid, the main pushing. All the while in the bottom, the Lycan gets the tier 2 there, and Phoenix gets the tier 1 up top. Fnatic at the 10-minute mark get Roche. They regroup, regen up. Then they instantly clear out 3 towers after getting a free kill on the Nature's Prophet. Super easy for Net to just head back towards the mid lane. They all group up. It's a 5-on-5. You see the Alchemist there just like, all right, guys, I threw him a stun. What do we do now? Bounty Hunter's like, I don't know. I don't have my ultimate yet, guys. I'm basically just a mobile ward. Derp's like, you know, I don't even have Finger of Death yet. I'd love to finger somebody, guys, but I'm just not ready. I still didn't hit puberty yet. I don't know what's going on. They're all just kind of standing there watching their base get killed, and it's to no fault of Rave. At this point, it just feels kind of like an outdraft. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? I want to see how Derp dies here. Oh, it's the Sunstrike. Very nice. Mid one just catches him. They didn't even commit for that. It was just a couple of, oh, poke with a Chen spell. Oh, poke with a Chen spell. Oh, poke with an Invoker spell. Oh, Sunstrike, you're dead, idiot. Oh, that's brutal. That is so brutal, man. What a game. What a game indeed. All right, folks. Well, that's it. That brings our coverage for today to an end. I was really hyped for this series and ended up being kind of a quick one. Game 1, exactly where it was at. If you missed it, please go back and check it out. It was a nail biter and had a pretty epic finish as well. I think our cameras are lagging a little bit, but that's okay. I'm Zyori from moonducktv. We'll see you guys next time. C-Kappa continues on. We're only about halfway through the bracket. Lower bracket is coming up next, folks. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.